Alright, so I'm not gonna lie, guys. We avoided this toxic topic for a long ass time, but this video was requested, and I do feel like it's been long enough since the death battle that I can talk about this topic and it won't get too rowdy, but I am gonna go ahead and address my opinion and give my opinion on Ben 10 versus Green Lantern and my thoughts on the battle. How I think it would go. Do I think it's a relevant battle? Do I think it's a fair battle? All that stuff. I'm going to give my opinion real quick. If you like versus battles, if you like series like these, make sure to like, subscribe, and join the army, as we are currently 13K plus strong and hoping to grow even faster. So thank you guys so much for those that have been supporting, my fellow goons, of course. And today is a versus battle, considering both sides, Ben 10 and Green Lantern, and letting you guys know who I think should win and what I think of the battle. So, first of all, it was a stupid death battle. Purely for the fact that I don't get the matchup. I know they're green. I guess that's cool. Like, the fact they both have similar colors. But besides that, I don't really like the battle. They don't have many similarities to me. Like, if you told me to come up with 100... even 200 battles before this death battle, Ben 10 Green Lantern wouldn't cross my mind, because I don't know. I don't really. If you guys see a lot of similarities and it immediately comes to mind for you, let me know in the comment section, because it genuinely doesn't for me. But I can say one of the beauties of examining this scenario is I don't favor either side. Like, I don't care much for Green Lanterns. They don't do much for me. Neither does Ben 10. So I'm pretty fair on it in terms of not having a favorite. But I do think there's some issues with the battle that need to be addressed. Like, they're common sense issues that people don't seem to want to talk about. First of all, you composite both. Green Lantern beats the dog shit out of Ben 10, Alien X, whatever you want to bring. Like, it gets rough. Like, and I don't think it was properly explained to Ben 10 fans, and oftentimes I don't believe it's explained, period, not just in that battle, well enough to Ben 10 fans, is the amount of dumb moments Green Lantern has, and the amount of random wild ass feats he has, because he's been in comics for decades. He's had thousands of appearances. Of course he's going to produce some wild feats. He scales to characters. He's kept up with a Superman who casually blitzed through the Omega beams and blitzed a dark side that was beyond all human dimensions. Just random BS like that. And when you have material such as that and you composite both, which is what a death battle does, Green Lantern's going to win. I mean, there's some... I've seen maybe one or two arguments for Outerversal Alien X. Shaky at best, and mostly... it's like mostly author statements. Not even like feats or anything. So, to call them... like Alien X consistently outer is really shaky, but Green Lantern over the decades has several Outerversal feats that comfortably secures him the composite battle. And once again, a reminder, composite means we're taking all their feats, taking them at their peaks, their best, and clashing. At peak for both, it's not close to me. Green Lantern absolutely stomps. And the power sources are completely different. You know, people are like, oh, well, you know, Alien X is a reality warper, a high tier reality warper. That's fine. We can even say grant like low baseline Outerversal reality warper. For the sake of the argument, I'm fine with that. I'm going to explain why that shit doesn't matter when you look at composite. Green Lantern's power comes from the emotional spectrum. The emotional spectrum is one of the primal powers of creation itself. creation, which contains several layers into Outerversal after you get outside of the dimensions and multiverse. It's a detailed cosmology. And the emotional spectrum is basically abstract. It's whatever emotion can, in theory, produce. And it's an absurd power that obviously scales layers into outer. So when you have that power source and the fact that characters like Hal Jordan has made his own ring out of pure willpower. He's his own battery. When the battery is something powered by abstract, it's absurd. And so the power level, that's obvious why there's going to be wild writing with Green Lantern. So composite, to me, I hope you guys are convinced at this point, like, Alien X doesn't have much going for him. That puts him several layers into Outerversal to compete with the BS writing Green Lantern has that wins him the composite battle by a landslide. Now, let's talk about a different kind of angle on this, like Green Lantern versus Alien X or Ben 10, their strongest basically, versus, like, I guess you'd call consistent Green Lantern. Okay, that feels a little weird to me, right? Because that's like saying Ben 10 walking around is always at peak power, all his powers, all his abilities, and as powerful as peak Alien X ever showed, right? That's a little dishonest. Just like it's a little dishonest to say, oh, let's talk about the L's Green Lantern. Like, Green Lantern's taking a few L's. Cool. Ben 10 doesn't walk around at Outerversal every episode. I hope you guys know that. Like, he doesn't do that shit. Just like Lantern doesn't do it for the comics. So, just kind of tying back to the composite thing, right? There's probably hundreds of Outerversal Lantern feats, right? There's maybe one or two for Ben 10 ever. And they're questionable at best. There's hundreds of L's for Lantern. And there's several for Ben 10, but just not as much because he doesn't have as much material. But case in point, I definitely think it's a lot closer if you argue consistent Green Lantern versus peak Ben 10 Alien X. But I don't, like I said, I don't like that argument because you're handicapping one side. Consistent versus consistent. I still think Green Lantern's just too fast. I think he's scaling to Flash, Superman, all of them. I think he's just too fast for consistent Ben 10. So overall, I hope you guys are getting I hope you guys are getting a clear picture on how I feel about the battle. I don't see why this was ever made into a battle in the first place. They're not similar characters or anything, and I think it's kind of dumb to put a character like Ben 10, disrespect a character like Ben 10 by putting against someone because they're green. That's dumb. Give him a better battle. Give him a more interesting battle. Alien X versus consistent Green... Like, peak Alien X versus consistent Green Lantern. Yeah, sure, I could see Alien X winning. But, in terms... Now, the last part we'll wrap up with, because I always like addressing these now in my versus battles, because I think it's fun. Narratively, who do I think would win? Ben 10 or Green Lantern? Green Lantern. Probably would arrest Ben 10. That's how I imagine the story would go now. Alien X takes over. We get Alien X versus Green Lantern narratively. How do I see that going? Alien X winning in a narrative battle. I think his writers would favor him. I definitely don't see them giving Green Lantern the edge over their god in their writing and someone who's portrayed as like a god and a godlike figure in their writing. I just don't see narratively Alien X losing to Green Lantern. So narratively, I would give it to Alien X. Absolutely. So take that, Ben 10 fans. Take that consolation prize. If he makes you feel better, I don't care if Green Lantern wins. But the sad truth is, he wins most of the matchups between these two. And it's just a weird matchup to do. Anyway, I don't know why it's so popular. But yeah, it is. And I went ahead and addressed it because it was requested and purchased. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like versus battles, Jobber series, Goon series, and who can beat, let me know in the comment section down below what you want to see next. And if you want to secure a video, you can purchase it, but you could always request it. And if it's popular, I will do it. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. And make sure to go check out my second channel. Just dropped Strongest Beings and Figures in Star Wars History. Go check it out. It's a banger. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.